Isn't it funny that you're waiting in the waiting room and it seems like it takes forever? But apologize for being just a few minutes late. We were coordinating our efforts on our side, but it is our great pleasure to have you here. I want you to realize that we have a way of being interactive today. So you're going to see that when you hover your cursor over the control panel there, it's going to say more. I sent you a chat, and I would just really welcome if you could please tell us where you're watching from, okay? So I am sitting in Richmond Hill today. Maybe you are, maybe you're from other places, but we're really, really glad that you're here. So use the chat box at any time to share with us what you'd like to ask, and we're gonna get started, okay? So type in where you're watching from, and I am going to just advance our next slide. Bonus, if you know where this particular condo is in Richmond Hill, okay? That's a little, you didn't realize there was going to be a test today, did you? Okay, so here I am. That's me pre-COVID, bangs a little shorter, hair a little longer. And I just wanted to introduce myself to you. I am a realtor who has been doing in-person condo tours as a way of just sharing market information with potential clients, people who are at all different stages. We never charge for these, obviously. We never expect anything in return. It's really part of our business ethos, our company ethos, to give from a place of contribution. And I really strongly believe that knowledge is power. So by sharing this information with you, you're going to make better decisions that meet the total requirements of your family. So we will be starting with a preview of some basic information so that if you were to reach out to me and say, okay, that's great. We've got Aurora, Richmond Hill. If you were to reach out to me and say, Sharon, I'd like you to start me on a search for condos in this particular area at this price point, this budget, this is what you're going to get every day. You're going to get new listings that come in. And there's a lot of information embedded in these real estate listing forms. But unless you know how to decode it, you might miss some things, and you might not find what you're looking for as easily. So let's just start there, shall we? And we're going to just take a few minutes, and you're welcome to ask any questions anywhere along the way, either by unmuting yourself or typing into the chat box. Okay, thank you. So one of the things that we really want to consider in addressing a condo as a potential next purchase is to kind of mash the numbers. We want to crunch the numbers. And when we are looking at different condos, there are going to be some major differentiations, not just in the price, but in some other other numbers that are important as well. So we do start with the list price. Now, when we were doing these condo tours originally, a couple of years ago, this was sometimes not the accurate information as to what the condo was going to sell for. Sometimes there were bidding wars and people would end up selling above asking. That's not the case right now. The number that you see there is what they're asking. It's not what we're going to pay. We're always going to try to negotiate for you the best deal possible. And there's a couple little tricks of the trade that I'm going to share with you, but the list price is not necessarily the sale price. Most sellers are looking between 97% and up, but that doesn't mean there aren't other bargains to be considered. So along with the sale price or the list price, we also want to pay attention to the property taxes, because this is part of your monthly carrying costs for this unit as well. So we see a big spread in property taxes, even between two units that look like they are virtually the same in terms of square feet or number of bedrooms, whatever. But the big distinction is that older buildings are being taxed at a lower rate than new construction. And you might see as much as twice as much of a difference in new construction where people are forced to pay the current property tax rates versus older property tax rates, okay? So when Richmond Hill condos were built out 30, 40 years ago, the rate was here. They're only allowed to adjust it slightly as it goes up, but the new construction, bam, they get hit with the full brunt of it. So this is a distinction to be weighed into your decision, because in condo land, it doesn't matter if it's Richmond Hill or Aurora, Thornhill, it doesn't matter. You've got two basic decisions to make: older units or newer units. I know it's not rocket science, but we're going to talk about some of those when we get to our examples in a little while. The other thing is the maintenance fee. Now, by far, this is what sticks in the craw of homeowners the most who are considering switching to a condo. They just cannot wrap their heads around paying $1,000 a month to live in a place, even if they don't have a mortgage. Now, I have to give you a couple of kind of other sides of the story. First of all, you do pay maintenance on your detached home now. It's just that we don't plan for it. Typically, what happens, you need a new roof, you pay $7,000, $10,000. You need a new driveway, you pay $3,000 or $4,000. You need new windows. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm getting new windows. I'm so excited. It's, anywhere $5,000 to $15,000. We just don't set it aside on a month by month basis, typically. But a condo has to do that. So your condo fees are paying for all of the exterior maintenance of the building, all of the amenities. They have a certain amount that goes into a reserve fund for any kind of big catastrophic expenses. There's an administrative component to it, a property management component. So it's like you're living in a little village, and everybody in the village who is supporting you being there gets paid. The advantage being is that it's not you doing it. So there is an opportunity cost to living in a condo. There's a lifestyle cost, definitely, but it's not like you're not paying maintenance now, okay? That was a very long-winded way of saying it. And we want to pay attention to what's included. In some of the older condos, all of the maintenance is included and all of the utilities are included. So it doesn't matter if you're here or Florida or up at the cottage, your place is being taken care of, okay? And you're not having to worry. New condos, they have little self-contained HVAC units that run on gas, like a little tiny furnace. And so you're paying for that based on how much you use. Advantages to both sides. Now, like we say here, we're going to read in the comments what's included. You can understand that a building that has more amenities is going to have to pay for those. So those end up pushing up the condo fees. And then condos with fewer amenities typically are less expensive in their monthly maintenance fees. But it also depends how the corporation, the condo corporation, has been managed over the decades, because you're inheriting a financial situation with that condo corporation that has been the sum total of all the management decisions by previous boards. So we can have two side-by-side condos with different maintenance. And that's a bit of a shock to some people. So the other thing we want to pay attention to is that center column where it tells you what's included. You see that it's yes, 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 except for the taxes. Obviously, your property taxes are always separate because you are a property owner. Now, other numbers that we can select for, we can choose for, is things like how many bedrooms and how many washrooms. Now, 3-bedroom condos are relatively rare. We are actually blessed with a few buildings in Richmond Hill that have 3-bedroom condos, but the most typical version is 2 bedrooms plus a den. And when we go and we look at condos together in person, we will play a game called Find the Den, because it's very subjective what somebody is calling a den. It can literally look like kind of an oversized nook. and that's apparently your den. Luckily, the condos we're looking at are all 2 bedrooms or larger. So that's kind of reflected in their price point. And then we also always like to see if we can find a condo with a storage locker. And sometimes it's just 1 parking, sometimes it's 2 parking. So all of these are kind of weighed into the balance when you're considering what do you need. If you're a single car family and you happen to purchase a condo with 2 parking, you can rent out the other spot, it's yours. In brand new condominiums, you have to buy the parking separately. So sometimes if it's a new enough building and the unit you're interested in only comes with 1 spot, you can actually find a second spot for sale or rent as well. Okay, so all of these things are, you're figuring out what's important to you. This is completely within your domain. There's no right or wrong. We also are surprising some people by how big condos can be. Look at this, 1,400 to 1,600 square feet. That's bigger than the townhouse I'm sitting in by a fair amount. So if you think in your mind that condos are small and boxy, no, they can be, but they don't need to be. And really, you're going to see a huge savings between a detached home and a condo in today's market. The other thing that we want to know is how big is it? Because, you know, that's 200 square feet in difference. This is just a byproduct of the form that we fill out on the Toronto Real Estate Board. It's kind of a lousy system in that way because there's such a wide margin in that. But in this case, our agent here, the listing agent, has told us in the comments that this is 1,404 square feet. Okay, so we have to do a little bit of digging to ascertain the exact square footage. And one of the ways that we can do that is by comparing the maintenance. Because you could see 2 properties in the same building, it's got to be the same building, and there's a slight variation between the maintenance, maybe $50 or $100 a month. And you wonder why. And that is, it could be that one of them has 2 parking spots and the other one only has 1. It could be that you have a storage locker and the other one doesn't. It could be the size of the unit. That's the most likely culprit. So if we see a differential within the building, we can figure out which of the units is bigger. Okay. So then again, there are some advanced property options, like how high you want to be up. There's no right or wrong. If you like to be closer to the ground, or you want to get up high and have those beautiful skylines, city views, whatever, you know, it's what you prefer. Then also there's a gallery, in this case, of 40 pictures. If you just click on that picture, if this was a live link, you'd be able to see the full gamut of pictures, both of the interior of the unit and the building amenities. It just gives you a better picture as to whether this is appropriate to your style. We also can choose what exposure the unit faces when we are searching. In some buildings, like this one in particular, if you're facing the north, you're looking kind of up Yonge Street over low-rise plazas. It's not very attractive. If you, oh no, on the north. On the south, you're overlooking some trees and some greenland and that. So it can really make a huge difference to what you're looking at day in and day out based on which way you are facing. And it's really a building by building selection, right? So they also will tell you what's included with the unit. Typically, it's all the appliances, all the light fixtures, and all the window coverings. People don't tend to move fridges anymore. Okay, now these are the things that only I can tell you. It says here that this listing has been on the market, DOM, days on market, for 13 days. Well, realtors do a little tricky thing called canceling and relisting. And then that timer starts over again, that clock. So what I like to do is go into the records and find out how long it's actually been for sale. Because if it's been on the market 87 days, That's an indication that the price is too high and there might be some room for negotiating. The other thing that I know that you don't know is who is selling it. Sometimes, well, most of the time, it's just a single seller or a couple, you know, Mr. and Mrs. or Mr. whoever. Sometimes it's a bank repossession. Sometimes it's an estate sale. Sometimes it's a power of attorney sale. Each one of those can give us an advantage when it comes to the negotiating table. For example, if it was an estate sale, this is found money for the estate. We might be able to come in with a lowball offer, maybe less than 95%, because the estate isn't counting on that money to go purchase something else. So sometimes there's options. Sometimes too, we're holding back offers, and that's a whole other thing where we talk about like a bidding war. So look at how many we're going to have a chance to see. I'm really excited about these selections. Let's get started. Oh, we got some little. So Bayview Avenue. This is as far east as we're going to be going today. And we're actually starting at the top of the heap in terms of price, $888. Now, like I said, this is what they're asking. And you'll notice it's been on the market for 84 days. So that already says to me they're overpriced. And I would have to do real comparative analysis of everything that is sold in that building. You have to go building by building. But what is so cool about this, now this is going to blow your mind, it's a 2-story condo apartment. So when I say condo, you think apartment. But a condo is just a way of owning something. A condominium is an ownership model. It's not a property type. So in Richmond Hill, you may or may not know that we also have condo townhouses, and we even have condo detached houses in Richmond Hill. There's only about 10 of them. Like literally, there's just a block of about 10 of them. And so when I say condo apartment, it doesn't necessarily mean 1-floor living. It can be 2 stories, especially if it's on the ground floor here, or in this case, it's the 5th story because it's a low rise. They're usually on the bottom floor or the top floor, and those are the 2 stories. So you can see that one of the things I really love about this is it has this amazing house-like feel to it, but you don't have any of the maintenance involved. And there's all kinds of amenities in the building that you still get to use. So this living room with the 2-story windows, absolutely spectacular. And it backs out, this unit is at the back of the condo. So you're looking out onto green, onto ravine. So that's why it's pricey. It's not typical of everything that's available. This is kind of an exception, but I wanted to show it to you so that it would open up your definition of what a condo can mean. Okay, so we've got outside terrace. Upstairs in the bedroom, we also have a walkout to a separate balcony. You can see these nice tall ceilings that really add to the spaciousness throughout. And this is fairly standard in the luxury condo market to have real hardwood, nice granite counters, and everything to be very high grade in terms of quality. So we are going to actually send this presentation out to you after we're finished today. And if you want to come back and revisit this property, you can click on the link. Melissa has included the link for a virtual condo tour, and it shows you the rest of the pictures for this unit. We only are posting a few of them. Okay, so this is condo thinking out of the box. Okay, now this is another luxury building, but with a very surprising price point. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom condo at the Renaissance by Tridel building, right in the heart of Richmond Hill. I'm sure if you are somebody who lives in Richmond Hill, you've passed it on Yonge Street on the east side. And when these were built, everybody was saying, oh my goodness, they start at $500,000. Well, now 10 years later, that's, you know, not a whole lot of money. But I wanted to show you this because that building being Tridel built is absolutely beautiful inside. And this is a really surprising price point, $629, so $630. And you're going to see that it has a wonderful old world ambiance inside. And this unit is very nice and spacious. It has the 2 bedrooms you can see there, the primary bedroom and the secondary bedroom. And what we call this is called a split layout. And we're going to contrast that with a bungalow layout. So the split layout is where you have a common eating, living, cooking area in the middle, and then you have the bedrooms flanking on either side. So this makes for a great deal of privacy for that second bedroom. Maybe it's an office, maybe it's a guest room, whatever it is that you want to work with there. But that split layout also means there is no lost space to hallways. Everything is usable space, which is terrific. And so with that efficiency, with the tall ceilings, let's have a look. This is one of my favorite buildings in Richmond Hill. So the top left there is our foyer with real wood, and it's 2 levels. There's a concierge. It's like very, very chic, right? Reminds me of like, I don't know, old Toronto kind of thing. And in terms of this building and this particular unit, I just want to encourage you to look past the surplus of kind of dated furniture and just look at what you're purchasing. Tall ceilings, granite countertops, real hardwood throughout. So a very, very nice unit. It has too much of it. They haven't come to our decluttering seminar, but that's okay. And it's also on the quiet side of Yonge Street. And that makes a huge difference. There is another unit for sale that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive, but its balcony is on Yonge Street. Who in the heck is going to sit out on a balcony on Yonge Street and listen to the Viva buses go by? It's crazy. And as a result, it's been on the market for months. So this is somebody who has probably is planning to move into a retirement community or whatever, but this to me represents a really good opportunity to get into a luxury building at a price that is a pretty good price. Okay, so that's why I included it on. You've wondered what this building looks like inside? Very, very, very nice. And they just redid all the paint and wallpaper and carpets in the hallways. So it looks like a hotel. That's really what it reminds me of. Okay, 30 Harding Boulevard. This is one of my favorite complexes. It's the Dynasty complex at Harding and Yonge. You come in a bit from Yonge, there are 3 buildings, 20, 30, and 40 Harding. Yes, I think that's correct. Each one of them is run independently, but they share common recreation facilities. Right in the middle, there's like a pavilion with all of the exercise, the pool. They even have a full-time recreation coordinator who plans classes. And the last time I was in there, I think there was like Zumba or something really super fun. It's gated, it's high security, and it's one of the nicest buildings for that kind of thing. Now, I'm showing you this unit specifically because this has been fully renovated. When we are looking at older condos, say in the 30-year plus range, we start to see that some of them have been renovated, some of them have not, and then some of them have had like moderate level, somewhere in the middle. This one has been gutted and is being resold by investors. So it's essentially a flip. Now, these, as you can see, the building is 40 years old, but look at the interior. It is so sparkly. It is so blingy. It's got the coffered ceilings, it's got molding, quartz countertops, it's got stainless steel appliances. It has been fully tricked out. Am I right? And the price reflects that. So it's a bit bigger than the one we just saw, but the price is considerably bigger. And this is what we call a bungalow layout. So I want you to imagine that all of the rooms are arranged on the wide, and you have living room, dining room, kitchen, and then you go down the hallway and you have bedrooms. So it feels much more like a house because it is laid out like a bungalow. So you have kind of wings, you have zones, versus the split layout where it's right in the middle that you live and there's a bedroom on either side. Uh, there's no right or wrong, it's just whatever you prefer. But look at this super sleek, modern aesthetic that they have implemented here. Now, if you are somebody who enjoys a bit of luxury, a bit of sparkle, then this could be the perfect place for you. And there's some people who will say, I can't imagine my furniture in this place. I'd have to buy all new. Maybe that's not so bad either. But you'll see that we have a definite, clean, all white kitchen and very up to date in terms of its styling. It's not my choice. I like a bit of wood. I like something that looks a little more natural. But again, that's just me. You can buy whatever you want. It's your money. So you'll also see that we have a big solarium here. This is in lieu of a balcony. So the actual living space, apart from this solarium, is approximately the same size as the unit we just saw. But you have this other space that's about 100, 150 feet, which was a solarium in the old days. But what they really did wisely in this renovation is that they carried all the floor right in. It used to be ceramic, but now it is just an extension of the living area, and it can be a beautiful dining room. I've seen it used that way. I've seen it as a work from home space. I've seen it even as a guest bedroom. So there's all different uses for that extra living space, okay? So this is one style of renovation, and if you like it, terrific. If not, luckily, there are other options. And this is the other option. Well, see what we did there? So this is $90,000 less expensive. It's at 33 Weldrick, which is a very well-known building in Richmond Hill, right there at Weldrick and Yonge. It has a stable, older population. People who've lived there have lived there for long stretches of time. We almost, this is an awful thing to say, but we almost have to wait for somebody to move out, move out of this world before we get one of these units available. You'll notice that it has a storage locker. It has 2 parking. It is a 2+1. So this is like the highly coveted model because of that +1. And this has been, we chose this actually as our property of the week on our Facebook and Instagram pages because it just to me speaks of quality. Not only the building, because it is completely turnkey, you pay one fee and everything's included, all of your utilities, all of the fitness and recreation amenities. There's even a guest suite and a woodworking shop. So with this location, this size, this price, I think it's a really attractive option. This is a penthouse. And you can see, like, this has been renovated as well. It's move-in ready, just like the other one is, but it's a different style. It's a more traditional style. We actually have wood, not laminate, and kitchen cabinets that are, you know, again, you can choose whichever you like, but I just wanted to show this as a counterpoint to the other unit, which is so blingy. This is nice, renovated, move-in ready, but a little different aesthetic in a building that we know. And the nice thing about these older buildings is that they have these ginormous balconies, right? That if you sit out there in the summer or grow tomatoes or whatever, you really appreciate that outdoor space. Okay. So that's 33 Weldrick. You can see that why I chose it for the property of the week. Just has a lot going for it. Now, talking about outside spaces, this is brand new. You can see that it's 0 to 5 years. You'll notice that the maintenance is much, much lower, like it's $350 a month lower, but it doesn't include all of your amenities. You're going to have to pay for your hydro yourself. Wow. And your cable. Wow, big whoop. It's probably not a big deal, but because this is a newer building, we haven't had any big ticket um, renovations required or any big capital expenses required. So they tend to run as a much more efficient organization as well, right? We've got efficiencies in all of the HVAC system and the electrical, so the whole thing. But the property taxes are higher. So per year, they're $1,000 or more a year, but the maintenance is $300 less a month. So you can see that there are efficiencies, economies to be had. This is right at the corner of Yonge and 16th, kitty corner to Hillcrest Mall in the new Beverly Hills condominium complex there. It's huge. This was one of the builder's own, oops, sorry, went backwards in time. This was one of the builder's holdbacks. This was used as a model suite, and so it's had a lot of upgrades to it. And you're going to see that one of the big things that this unit offers is this absolutely huge outdoor terrace. You can see the two pictures there. You see that one of them is a little terrace and one of them is a huge terrace. Well, this unit has the huge terrace. The one with the, it looks like it's like a blue, looks like a blue lounge chair. So there's a little glass wall that separates it from the lesser beings. But do you see that this is another kind of luxury lifestyle where people who say to me, oh my goodness, I can't imagine not being able to go out and, you know, barbecue or plant tomatoes or let the dog, you know, get some fresh air. I don't know. But this is the kind of option that exists. Now, this is the very tip top of the market, but there are other units like this that have a terrace versus a balcony. So let's go see what it looks like inside. Again, modern aesthetic. This is a very standard kind of builder's layout where we have the great room with living, dining, kitchen all in one, and then flanked with the bedrooms, that split layout. So the layout in the interior of this unit is completely typical of new construction. What's extraordinary about this is the outside spaces that you have access to. Okay, so I chose this as an example of what your money can buy essentially out. Okay, so I've chosen this unit to be the antithesis, the counterpoint, because I think this is really fantastic value. This is down at that hub near Red Maple, near High Tech, all around there, down there at Yonge and Highway 7 approximately. That neighborhood has been slated for redevelopment. All four corners is going to get redeveloped. But right now, this is a great time to pick up one of these units at a lesser price. You'll see that the maintenance is lower. Let's look at the taxes are kind of middle of the road, and the price. So I chose this. It's not the cheapest or the least expensive condo on our tour today, but I just thought that this is really super good value because it has all the amenities. It has a guest suite. It has a security guard. All of the things you would require, but that is a very attractive purchase price. $578.80. Okay, so this is a mid-rise building. It overlooks townhouses. It has some very nice features to it. Unfortunately, the pictures are a little bit dark, but it does show you, again, most new condos have the kitchen that has the peninsula that's open to the rest. For some people, they really don't like looking into the kitchen all the time. So I wanted to show you that this layout is also available. This is a galley kitchen, and they would say in real estate land, this is a step-saving kitchen. So there you go. We do have this as an option where the kitchen is separated from the rest. You're not looking at it, but I'm going to say this is not the usual layout. Most often in newer construction, we have a peninsula that serves on one side as a breakfast bar. You can pull up some stools to it, and the kitchen is open to the living and dining room. It's just, again, trying to make as much use of the space as possible. Okay, so that's an example of a different kind of floor plan. I want to make sure that we also have time for questions, okay? I think we have 2 more properties that we're seeing that each represent a different type. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have. Now, this is the bargain. This is the bargain of the century one. Well, not exactly bargain of the century, but if you thought that you could not find a 2-bedroom condo under $500,000 in Richmond Hill, I have included this in our tour to challenge you. This is on Major Mackenzie. It says Yonge and Major Mackenzie. It's kind of between Yonge and Bayview on the north side. And you probably have passed this and didn't even notice it, but look at that. And this is not $499.9 holding back offers till February the 1st, and now we're trying to create a bidding war. This is the most you would pay for this unit. We would try to negotiate you something in the low 490s for this unit, and that would be, you know, a good day at the office. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's got all of the amenities. It's got tennis courts. I think it's got an indoor pool. Like, it shocked me. And somebody purchased this as a flip, and look what they did. They blinged it out. So we've got super sleek cabinets. We've got the quartz countertops, laminate throughout. This is really beautiful. I was shocked when I saw this. And it's got all of the amenities too. So, wow, as a first-time home buyer, this is an amazing option. It's in a great location. It's a really attractive price. You don't have to spend $900,000 or $800,000. Look at this for $499,900. Are you surprised? Are you shocked? I am a little bit shocked. Okay, so wanted to make sure that you saw this, as because we're giving you a wide variety. We're giving you penthouses, we're giving you 2-story, we're giving you luxury, we're giving you bargain, the whole thing. Renovated, unrenovated. Wait till you see this one, the next one. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I love about this. It does require some work, so it's not fully renovated. In my opinion, it needs a new kitchen, but it's a ground floor unit. If you have a little doggo, this is the perfect type of unit for you that you can get right outside. You don't have to go into the elevators. You don't have to do anything. You have your own little terrace. This building, I love. It's 40, 50, and 70 Baif that I really, really like. 20 Baif is a different one. That's the one right on closest to Yonge Street, and it has no balconies. And I personally couldn't imagine living in a place where I didn't have a balcony. I probably wouldn't use it, but psychologically that would be important to me. And this one, you'll notice, has 2 parking spots and a storage locker. The thing that you don't know, because I'm not permitted to publish the private information, but this is an estate sale. And this is the same way that we get these units in this building too, is like an estate. So let's look at what I'm talking about here. We have an outdoor pool, a nice garden-like setting. It's like a park. It's a couple of acres, the buildings, and you'll see people out there walking all the time in the summer. Next door is a little parkette for the kids with swings. It's got an actual laundry room in it, not just a stacking washer and dryer in a closet, and a dining room. So it's very, very house-like feel with that bungalow layout that I mentioned before, with the bedrooms down one side and the living area down another. So the price at $650, I still think is a little high. I don't think it's quite worth 650, except the fact that it is the ground floor. I think they're charging a bit extra because it's a ground floor unit. Okay, so do you see the kitchen? Do you see where I think it probably needs a refresh? A cabinets at least. It looks like it has newer appliances, but I think I would probably do the cabinets. The washroom is kind of similar. It looks pretty dated as well, but they do have hardwood floors throughout. And this is so cool. This unit is vacant. What did they do though? These are all computer generated images of furniture. Except for, I bet you, except for the outdoor set, that cafe set is probably real, but the rest of it is all virtual staging. And I think this is kind of genius that we show the rooms with furniture that's scaled to just really explain how the space can be used. Okay, so this isn't quite turnkey, but it's certainly very, very livable. And you see that you've got your own gate, you've got a place where you can exit, go for a walk, come on back in. And I'm going to tell you that with COVID, I've had more and more of my clients ask me for ground floor units so that they don't have to ride the elevators. We just purchased one in the Angus Glen Golf Course area for a client who was downsizing from Markham, and he said, I need to have a ground floor unit. So that's what we found him. And they are in existence. They usually get snapped up very quickly. But I think because this one needs a little bit of cosmetic refresh, it's been sitting on the market a bit. In this building, there are 2 styles of 2 bedrooms and 2 styles of 3 bedroom. This is not my favorite style because you can see that the bedroom is a bit of a weird shape, but as a compensation to having the ground floor, oh my goodness, I think this is a really great option. Okay, so people ask me, what can I do about pets? Well, every condo has its own restrictions on pets and smoking. And we have to go literally condo by condo to find out what that is, because it's the condo board that decides if you can have pets. Now, usually it's not cats, as long as it's not like 17 cats, you're usually fine. It's usually dogs. And that's because other people have to ride the elevator while you take, Mr. Woofy out for his business. So some condos are absolutely no pets, no dogs, and they make you sign that waiver even before you move in. Other places, they don't mind small dogs. It could be under 20 pounds or under 30 pounds. Some places only allow 1 dog. So we just really have to find out for you if that's important to you. The other thing is about smoking. Because of the legalization of cannabis, many condo boards have voted to turn their building into a non-smoking building. This is a non-smoking building. I had clients who do smoke ask me to find out what was up, and this one, you're not allowed to smoke in your unit or in the common areas. And I guess if you smoked on your patio, it's just a matter of somebody, complaining about it. I don't think I'd run the risk, because they do have the right to tell you to stop smoking or get out, and which is really kind of surprising. But if you don't like cigarette smoking, you can't tolerate it, you have an allergy, or the smell of cannabis is really irritating to you, you'd be grateful. So that's part of living in a condo, is that you give up a bit of your personal freedom for the space and consideration of other people around you, right? That's just the way it is. Okay. So if you have questions about condos, I welcome you to unmute yourself or tap them into the chat box. And just while I have you, I want to let you know about a couple of the other options that we provide, services we provide, including a brand new webinar that we've just been developing with Lior Jagger. These are going out into Richmond Hill, inviting people to our upside of downsizing. So we know that your detached home is worth a ton of money right now. So what do you do if you sell and you've got this nice nest egg? What is that going to do for you? So she's going to help you to see what some of your financial options are. She's so smart. Oh my goodness. I learned so much the last time we had this webinar. I just, I'm taking notes like crazy and using those assets that you've been gathering over these years, that equity, to create a better retirement. That's what 70% of Canadians are planning on doing at some point. So it's great to find out your options. Now, getting from a detached home to a condo likely is going to require some decluttering. Everybody, and no matter what your plans are, probably needs to do some decluttering, especially while we're home and we're in lockdown and our homes feel very small. One of the best ways to help push back the walls is to declutter. And we have an email campaign where for 30 days, you get an email with a task and a tip. And we want to encourage you, inspire you, and help you to get started on eating that elephant, right? How do you eat an elephant? That's what it looks like, those 30 days. We have some reward and rest days. And so we're happy to send this to you if you ask. We also are going to be doing other condo tours and our brand new townhouse tour. Oh, so much fun, where we're going to be showing you some of the same information, but the difference between condo townhouses and freehold townhouses, and just show you what that looks like. And then, of course, we're always coming through our webinar process of I think the next one is probably the shoestring, staging secrets on a shoestring budget. Love that one. Very, very visual, before and after. And these are always offered to you without cost or obligation, because we want to give you the information. And these come from my experience actually door knocking North Richvale, where I live. And people ask me the same question. Great, my house is worth $1 million, but where do I go? So I started doing the condo tours. Oh, I'd love to downsize, but have you seen my basement? Started the decluttering. So all of these are real world applicable type questions that I get asked all the time. So I noticed that there's something in the chat box. Let me just see. Have to go. Thank you for the great information. You are most welcome. We are so happy to have you here. We're also really putting an emphasis on this year on providing people with property evaluations. This is so key, like to keep an eye on the values. How many of you said back in 2017, as the market started to tank, oh, wish we had sold? So many people. You don't know this because you're not in the business, but I do know it because I am. We have surpassed 2017 prices. Did you know that? In detached homes, we are selling for probably 3 or 4% higher than the peak of 2017. It's crazy out there. So if you're keeping an eye on your investment, and everybody should, it would be no obligation for us just to provide you with a property report and get that out to you, okay? So we love being of service in any way that you find helpful. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Are there any questions? Questions about condos? Don't get me singing. Condo questions? No. You can unmute yourself. Nobody's going to bark at you if you want to ask.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey.
Hi. Just first of all, thank you. As always, I love the variety that you show, and I kind of try to visualize myself walking through and what I like and what I don't like. So thank you for the variety. This is sort of looking ahead because we're really not ready to sell. We're in a townhome. But say in a year or so, looking down the road, interesting articles that are popping up about knocking down walls and making it, that open concept. I don't know whether it would be worth it, especially if we're thinking maybe in a year or so we will sell, but who knows what will happen in life. Have you read about this trend where people are saying, no, I want the rooms back in, i.e. a separate living room, separate dining room versus the whole open concept?
Yes, I'm actually working with a client who is both my personal friend and my personal financial advisor, who lives in an open concept home. And now that everybody is shut down and working from home, she has asked me to find her a house in traditional Raymerville, Markham. She cannot stand how the clutter migrates, the toys migrate. She doesn't want to look at at her kids' toys in the family room, and she has asked me to find her a home with walls. So this is just, we're right in the middle of this. And it's so funny how your reality changes when you're spending a lot of time. People realize that these homes are very difficult to decorate too, right? That you've got no walls to put the couch against, like, you know, it's all of those. So just to answer your question, Avis, I would not be knocking down any walls. First of all, the cost may not be, you might not get it back in your sale price. So what we recommend in our best renovations for return on investment is to do cosmetic changes only. Don't change the basic layout. Don't do any big, you know, demolition. Just refresh, declutter, paint, clean, all of the kinds of things we know to do.
And one more question, if I may.
Of course.
My home is traditional, which means I have drapery. Is it worth it to invest in shutters or just leave my home as it is if I think it's showing quite nicely, i.e. with the drapery?
Right. So what we typically do is we want to lighten and brighten the room. So if you have heavy panel drapes, we either try to push them right open, or we take them down and just leave up shears. So sometimes the custom-made curtains with the heavy swags and the jabots, they really cut out a lot of the light. So we will take those down and just put a simple set of panel curtains on a rod sometimes. But I would not invest in shades, and especially the California shutters are kind of moving out. What we are seeing now are the silhouette shades by Hunter Douglas, where we get kind of an opaque, translucent, and those are very popular. So if you were replacing them for your own use, I would direct you into that. But if you're not, if you're thinking of resale, no, the stager comes in and brings everything like that if we think a change needs to be made.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So Paul has asked about locker terminology. Exclusive, owned, and ensuite. Very, very good question, Paul. It's the same thing. Lockers and parking spots have two different terminologies: exclusive use or owned. So if you refer back to the brand new condominiums, you can buy a locker, usually from the builder. It's like $15,000 or $20,000. So not every unit is going to have them. In theory, you could also trade them, and in other words, sell the locker as a separate unit because it has a separate legal description. If it's an exclusive use locker or parking spot, it means that no one else is allowed to use it, but you don't actually own it. You pay the maintenance on it. So in one building I know it was about $30 a month for the extra parking spot. So the condo corporation is responsible for all the maintenance of it. They actually are in either case, but you don't own it. It's tethered to your unit and you cannot separate it. Okay, so ensuite locker would be where you just have a big storage closet in the unit. So sometimes, like we saw in the older condos, we not only have a washer and dryer, we have an actual room, not just a closet. Okay, so those are very important distinctions in the way things are owned. Here's another one that related back to the smoking. Your balcony is not owned by you. It is exclusive use. So that means that the condo corporation is responsible for fixing it If you ever had a broken window, they have to fix that on the balcony or the door. Sometimes in the older buildings, there's some problems with the concrete getting water eroded on the top of the ceilings. That's the condo that has to come in and parge that and fix it. But it also means you couldn't enclose your balcony because you don't own it. So people ask me all the time, oh, could I like screen that in or whatever? No, you could not, because the condo corporation has to have access to it to be able to maintain it. So the second question, which is equally an excellent question, is about maintenance fees. Maintenance fee increases are completely unregulated. There is no legislation related to them. Sorry, that's just a client. And there's no legislation, but the way we can protect you against buying into a corporation where the fees are increasing at too much of a pitch, what we do is a condo that we purchase for our clients. We never buy them firm. We always buy them with the condition that your lawyer has to look through the status certificate, which includes the rules and regulations, the current operating budget, plus any previous accounting inquiries. Every 3 years, they do a big audit. That was the word I was looking for. And so we look and we see how much have the condo fees been increasing. And if we don't like the percentage, i.e. if it's anything over 10% per annum, we have the legal right to withdraw from that deal. We don't have to explain it. We don't have to give a reason. We don't have to justify it. The verbiage is written to the sole benefit of the buyer. So we look at that package and say we saw that there was an $18% increase this year. That's enough reason to cancel the deal. Okay, so we're looking for a pattern, and then if there is any anticipated increase beyond a certain amount, then it has to go to the general populace for votes. And that's all announced way, 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 way ahead of time. And so we're looking for any of those special notifications or assessment notifications, where there was one case in downtown, no, it was Scarborough, where there was a huge structural issue with the underground parking, and every condo resident was assessed $1,200 a month for 8 years to pay for it. And this is like the very, very, very rare exception. This is like the worst story you'll ever hear. And the vast majority of them don't ever have this kind of issue with them. We just purchased a condo this week for a client, and the status certificate came back from the lawyer yesterday, and we were able to go firm on the deal today. So we always buy ourselves 5 days to do our due diligence into the financial health of the corporation, because, you know, I hope that answers you. It's 2:01. You're welcome very much. See, I share with you the whole idea of the maintenance fees driving me a little bit nuts, but I'm going to tell you, it's the price of freedom. When we get back to a place where we can travel and be other places, I don't want to worry about my bathroom flooding or, you know, the furnace kicking out and my pipes freezing. Like, I want to be able to pick up and go. And I think that's the freedom that condo living affords for me. So I see a condo in my future, 100%, for the freedom, just not quite yet. I have to get rid of a kid and a dog. So, don't tell them I said so. Okay, other questions, comments? We're out of time in terms of our allotted 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. How can I be of service to you now? What are the next steps that you need? Do you need to know how much your house would sell for? Do you need to know, okay, oh, we have a question, great. If hydro is not included, do you just have to pay? Yes, you only pay for what you consume in your unit. That's a really good question. Paul's on the ball. Yeah, so you only pay for what you use, and it's very, very little, like $60 a month, maybe. I guess it depends if you start running your unit. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you, Joyce. Really appreciate you being here today. If at any time after you see this, like, we are going to send it out to you along with our condo considerations workbook. If you have questions from anything that you've read or watched, please reach out. I think you can kind of tell that I really like talking shop. So don't think you're bothering me. I love talking shop. So anytime you want to talk real estate, I am here for you. Okay? And maybe you'll come back to one of our other webinars. Okay, I better go and see what my Aurora clients are calling me about. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay warm, stay safe, stay home. Okay?